Hello again, Joe here once more. It is once again the end of the month. That means Premium Gala, that means new characters. So we're going to take a quick look at what we've got. 99% chance we're getting a Lunalu alt, as was featured in Imagination Overdrive, the current story event. So we're probably getting her, and we might be getting something else as well. Who knows? Let's go have a look. No more Halloween characters. They did the special Premium Gala before the Premium Gala that had them all in the pool and Sparkable. But now they're gone, so let's just see what we get now. Yep, Lunalu. Lunalu Fantasy, okay. So that's, I think that's the first fantasy character they've put into the gacha since Grand Sandalphon. I was wondering when they were going to do something like that. Enyo. That's... You're not new. She's the person from, I think, Athena's Fate episodes? I think that's where she's from. One more thing as well. There we are. Makes sense. We do have Wind Guild War coming up. I was wondering when we were going to get this. But let's go take a look at their stuffs. Okay, weapons first. Lunalu's weapon, Into the Sunset. Debuff immunity on Ogi. Okay, that's just... If you want to go all in on HP, use that, I guess. And Enyo's Lance. Boost to MC's damage cap. Big boost to Wind Ally's attack. Medium boost to Wind Primal Ally. Yeah, that's not super great. Let's take a look at these characters now. So, as they usually do, as I always say with the story events, they usually give a sneak peek of some of the new characters. So, based on what she did in the scripted battle in the event, I'm expecting her to give herself instant charge and CA specs, I think stackable CA specs at the cost of 30% max HP, and I'm expecting her to give herself triple strike at the expense of 30% max HP, because that's what she did in the event. But obviously we don't have any idea of her third skill or her passives either, so let's just have a look. So her Ogies is massive light damage to foe and hit to defense stackable. That's fairly standard, whatever. Skill 1, instant CA, stand by the caster, boost to CA specs one time. Oh, it wasn't stackable, it was just one time, okay. 30% hit to max HP, cooldown 0 turns. That was to be expected. Copy an ally skill, extend caster's buff durations by 1 turn. 30% hit to max HP, excludes 1 turn buffs. So she still has her facsimile skill. And then, yeah, attacks 3 times each turn, 30% hit to max HP, 0 turn cooldown. So yeah, let's have a quick check at her passives. Boost to CA specs as max HP decreases. Charge attack activates twice when max HP has been reduced by 90% or more. Interesting. During any turn a skill was used, deal triple attacks, substitute effect, dodge all attacks from all... Okay. Okay, interesting. So the big problem here is that obviously her entire thing is just attack like crazy for a couple of turns before, dipping out. The main issue is she gives herself triple strike every turn for 3 turns, I'm assuming. I'm assuming you can't do this a 4th time. But the issue with Light Burst is there isn't really a whole lot that goes into supporting a particular character. Light's whole thing with the Grand Nehan and Grand John and whatnot is it's more about attack buffing up the entire team as a whole. Whereas you can't really just go all in on one character like you can with with other elements. Like, for example, in Wind with Grand Narmaya, you can just use, Summer Korwa and like Summer Annulet or something, and just load up a bunch of buffs and echoes on Grand Naru, and just have her do like 90% of your team's damage. Whereas you can't really do that in Light. So like, if you could do that, she would be busted. Like, she would be like probably like insta slot on like light racing teams and burst teams. But as it stands, like, you can't really do that in Light. Like I said, Nehan gives decent buffs to like the entire team. Same with Grand Jean. So there's not a whole lot that you can do to really go all in on Lunalu, which means that if she was in another element, she would be crazy good. But in Light, she's merely pretty good. Like, she's not super busted, I don't think. But similar to Halloween Kukuru that we looked at last time, I think as if Light gets more characters that can buff an individual character, similar to how, like I described in like Wind, her potential could go up quite a bit. I think as is right now, you would use her on a racing team if you don't have anyone to really fill that third slot alongside Nehan and Grand Jean. I think you'd basically just probably use this for depending on this. Trying to think what are good copyable skills in Light. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. So maybe you just use this for 2 turns. Use this on the 3rd turn and get CA reactivation. That would put her down to like barely any HP. And then you just hope she gets knocked out and bring in someone else, like, I don't know, Geisenborg or something, if you want to do something like that. So yeah, she seems good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, anyone who can just give herself triple attack with 0 turn cooldown, like, there is not a situation where a character like that is bad by any stretch of the imagination. I just think Light as an element doesn't really have all the tools that you would want to really make her crazy busted. So as is, I think she's good, but I don't know if she would find a slot. I'm not super familiar with Light Burst. I don't actually know who like the go-to third slot in with Nehan and Grand Jean is. My gut instinct would be like Summer Hao Mao, because they give echoes and stuff like that and buffs like that as well. So maybe them. I don't know who else. So maybe she does have a spot in there. I'm sure once she's been out a few days and more people have been able to test her, we'll find out if she's like a premier racing unit for Light. But until then, I think my initial impression is that she's a pretty nice attack character that you just go all in for like a couple of turns and then dip out. Through either because you're done with your honors that you're doing for whatever raid you're joining, or you sacrifice her for someone else for the rest of the fight. So yeah, hard to say. I think she's pretty good. I hope that she ends up being very good. But like I say, I don't really have the knowledge to say for sure that she's going to be a top tier attacker. Because like I said, I think just Light doesn't have the tools it needs to really support a singular character. Light's more about supporting the entire team, which, like, with this skill set, she doesn't benefit from that quite as much. But apart from that, she seems cool. I think it's funny that her Chunibyo self-insert character is playable. So yeah, that's Lunalu. She seems cool. Let's take a look at Enyo. So she's Wind. We have Wind Guild War coming up in, I think, a couple of weeks now. So is she going to be good? Is she going to be pool bait for Guild War? Let's have a look. Ruthless Tyrant is her Ogi. Massive wind damage to foe. Activate Ajax. Don't know what that is yet. She's our skill 1, Ajax. Boost to caster's damage cap. Additional effects upon each cast in this order. Deal triple attacks, drain effect, bonus wind damage effect, boost CA specs 1 time. Okay. So you need to do it like 1, 2, 3, 4 times to get the Ogi, the echoes, I'm assuming. I'm assuming this is the first cast, and then yeah, this is from second cast onwards, I would assume. I'm assuming you don't get this on the first cast. It's a 7-turn cooldown, that'll probably go down to 6, which is a fairly standard cooldown, but it activates on Ogi as well, so hopefully the ramp up time for this shouldn't be too long. This does seem like a pretty good skill. Yeah, obviously don't know what the numbers of this damage cap and echoes are, but hopefully it should be pretty good. Moving on. Skill 2, 5-hit wind damage to random foes, hit to all foes, defense and debuff resistance stackable. Okay. Skill 3, remove 1 buff from a foe, hit to wind defense, petrify effect. Goddess's ecstasy level rises upon 1 upon being targeted by a foe, max 5. Clastus Polis's, that's this. Hit number increases by 1. Clastus Polis. Okay, so this is just the same as Athena's passive skill. With her skill of 3, I think it is. The only thing is, I don't think... So if Athena, this was really good for her because a lot of wind bosses have AoE auto attacks, which means that she was able to get these stacks up pretty quickly, whereas off the top of my head, Earth bosses don't have a whole lot of AoE autos that I can think of off the top of my head. So I'm going to say that she probably is going to have a little bit more trouble getting these stacks up. Who can say? And second passive, when an ally removes a foe's buff, 1000% wind damage to all foes, delay effect, instance. Okay, okay. That's similar to. Is that similar to? I think that's similar to Grand Cagliostro's passive, where she gives a delay and a nuke on Dispel. This seems pretty good. I'm assuming like she can activate this herself with her skill 3. I would assume so. But she seems pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. She seems pretty good. Like, the only thing I'm not sure about is this. I mean, I say that it's a 5-hit skill in wind, which is the element with LER beaks, so I don't know if this will go down to 5 turns or not. I'm not sure. But even without this passive, this is still be pretty decent because it has a fairly standard cooldown and it's 5 hits and it's wind. Like, you're going to be hitting a minimum a few million damage with this every time if you're using beaks. Plus it'll go up to 10 hits once this is maxed out. So in longer fights, like, because she's in wind and she has multi hits, like up to 10 hits skill that can auto activate at the end of turn, or when she's targeted rather, and that's a lot of damage that builds up over a longer fight. She gives herself a lot of good buffs here that ramps up over the course of the fight because of this. She has a Dispel, which is always nice, which gives her a delay. Like I said, I'm assuming that she can activate her own passive with her skill 3 here, so that's a Dispel, a delay, a nuke, a petrify, and wind defense debuff, and then instant CA standby all in one button is like crazy amount of utility. I get the feeling that she might be pretty useful in Guild War. I can never remember how cooldowns work. This might stay at 5 turns or it might go down to 4. If it goes down to 4, that is going to be crazy. that you get all this with one button press. That might be a bit too crazy. It might just stay at 5. Actually, give me a sec. I'm going to see if she's up on the wiki yet. She is. So I'm just going to check these cooldowns. Okay, no, it doesn't go down. It stays at 5 turns. But these both go down to 6 turns and 5 turns. So that's pretty good. So yes, she. I don't want to say she's busted because I don't think she is. Like, if she gave herself all of this from the beginning, she would be busted. but she's not. Obviously, she requires a lot of ramp up. She's not going to be super useful in like shorter fights rather, because she needs some ramp up time for this. And she wants ramp up time for her passive for this to build up a bunch of skill damage, but I think in longer fights, stuff like, you know, the higher difficulty Guild War Nightmares and stuff, like I think she's going to be pretty good. Having a relatively low cooldown Dispel alone is pretty good for for Guild War Nightmare stuff, because they love to just buff themselves out the ass on the higher difficulties. So if you have her and then like another one or two Dispels on your team, like you're probably going to be pretty set for like Nightmare 100, 150. I'm going to check the wiki just to see if she can actually, if it says that she can do this herself. Okay, it doesn't actually say. It just says can activate by skills, charge attacks, and summon calls it remove a buff, but it doesn't say that she can't do it herself, so I'm going to say with 99% certainty that she gets all of this herself when she hits this button, which is pretty nutty. Like I said, Dispel, Wind Defense debuff, Petrify, plus a chonky nuke, 1000% is crazy, and a delay and instant standby, which will then feed into this, which means that she can get this ramped up much quicker. Yeah, she seems pretty good. Like I said, she seems someone that you would want for longer fights, fights that require a lot of utility like this. But she seems pretty strong. I'm gonna come out and say that I think she's pretty good, and that you might want her for Guild War if you're. I wouldn't say Sparker. I'm not going to say yes. You should definitely pull for her, because Wind Guild War is coming up. But she would definitely be a nice to have if you got lucky. I mean, if you're a Space Whale, you're going to pull for her anyway. But if you're someone like me who just does like the 90 yen draws each day of a gala, and you are lucky enough to get her, then you'll probably be thankful for that come Guild War, because she looks pretty strong. I hope I get her. I'm not gonna pull for her, but I hope that I'm lucky enough to get her. So yeah, thanks for watching. Couple of interesting characters there. Not sure what to think of Lunalu. She's like in a vacuum seems pretty strong, but in the context of light, maybe not quite as strong as you would think. But then Enyo looks pretty nutty for like longer, harder fights for Wind. But yeah, until next time, thanks for watching. Peace out.